I'm telling about this weapon, about this unusual weapon that was used during the World War.
It's been started at a factory in America. He's been loaded onto airplane by the British, and the Germany don't even need bombs to deliver it. They just threw it off the plane with their hands. This weapon is propaganda.
In leaflets who the Russians say, the Stalin son surrendered and fled to Samara.
These Americans are told the story of simple guy at the front and a girl who didn't fight for him and gave herself to her boss. The message is clear: surrender or go home. Only Germany produced 5 billion postcards.
Facts are used to convince people of your position, but what if the facts speak against you? They use propaganda.
The word sounds the same in most countries. In most countries, it comes from the name of this organization, the Congregation for the Propagation of the Faith. And until the 20th century, propaganda means spreading religion upwards, and missionaries come to the natives and tell them to raise their children properly and pray to God, and if they don't, they will burn hell. That's how it is.
As they say, spread it right, and then the main tool of propaganda, there was a printing press, and with the help of books and leaflets, Martin Luther destroys the Catholic Church and turns half of Europe into Protestants. That is, people massively believe in one thing, and then suddenly began massively believing in another. But it wasn't easy.
And in the First World War, it became clear that without a clear ideology the soldiers wouldn't go to war. Propaganda began to be used in politics after the defeat of Germany in the First World War, and Hitler concluded that it was the enemy propaganda that broke the spirit of the German soldier, and therefore it was necessary to counter it with his own, and countered it from the time on. The battle for human minds began, and all the people were not called the new oil.
It became obvious that no political regime can be built here without people.
Every second home has a radio based on propaganda. Nazi Germany and fascist Italy are full of propaganda. USA, Soviet Union, China blade fighting an idea led to world wars, fascism, Holocaust,
repression. Indeed, this is the weapon that leads people. All ideologues had their propaganda. Lenin, Napoleon, and even Putin himself.
He has the most rotten propaganda I have even seen. Their news change every time and tell only about the success of their soldiers, and that they will not take new borders. But in fact, from the slogan, "We will capture Kiev 3 days," before they destroyed Bradley or Leopard 2.
This is how it breaks the brain. Each propaganda has its fact. Now we'll touch the main ones. The first is division and conflict. The propaganda divides the world into black and white, good and evil, friends and foes.
Chinese propaganda shows how terrible it is under capitalism, where the rich take everything and give little to share servants, like dogs. They draw close factories under socialism, guarded by machine guns that pretend ordinary workers from earn honestly. But here is a Soviet poster showing that under capitalism, capital is forced to make its way on the street, while under socialism, it is supported by the state in every time.
Under any government, it turns out that we are doing well and others are doing badly, and now let's take a break on Dmitry Kiselov works.
У нас своя песня. Россия сегодня своего рода остров нормальности, если смотреть из западной дурки. Наши страны не идут на сумасшествие Запада, Америки и Европы, которые встали на путь отказа от своей традиционной культуры, от гей-парадов и увлечением сменой пола до обрушения памятников отцов-основателей и равнодушием к возрождению нацизма на Украине. Мы
We are different, that is the division into friends and foes, or because our brain says the words in a world of chaos and increasingly world abandoned information. We need to somehow navigate where to look and check facts from different sources. When propaganda decides for them who is friend, who is foe, who is historical brother, who is historical enemy, it says us enemy. And we accepted it because we don't waste time on analysis.
Remember, no propaganda will call itself invader or occupier. They measure the enemy symmetrical from all sides. This picture perfectly describes propaganda and its principles. This is their barbaric desert. This is our sacred land. This is their cunning tyrant. This is our sacred leader. This is their primitive faith. This is our great faith. These are their cruel invaders. These are our brave heroes. But if they raise propaganda, we'll get the same land. and the same people.
The division into friends and foes has been repeated many times over the year, and to consolidate the image of the enemy, more and more making it
Demonize it and dehumanize it. Here's the propaganda from the First World War. A truly German, a monkey walking on the shores of America, holding a bull who symbolizes freedom. You don't want to see that happen, do you? Then quickly volunteers to fight. Here's the Kaiser Wilhelm, the Emperor of Germany. What the artist has already depicted as the real Satan and enemy of the human race.
That's what it's for, to kill people, and killing people is taboo in all cultures and religions. But if the enemy is so terrible, then you can, and sometimes even need to do violence against them. And what Putin is doing. Look at this.
Любое государство, которое перешло эту грань и стало на путь террористических актов, оно не имеет права на существование.
Потому что мы имеем дело с нелюдями. Мы имеем дело с теми, для кого слово «человечность» вообще она отсутствует. Поэтому с ними, как с бешеными собаками. Эти люди недостойны после того, что они вытворяют.
The demonization of the enemy. Propaganda helped a lot break all stereotypes of humanity and disappearance by labeling to form a certain attitude.
Значительная часть Украины, украинского народа, безусловно, не все, и я надеюсь, что даже не большинство, но значительная часть оказались охвачены вот этим
The
безумием.
main goal of this method is to create an imagine that cases happen.
Переговоры с нацистами, пока твой сапог не стоит на их горле, воспринимается как слабость.
Разрушен не указом
Вам
президента.
веры ноль.
И не решением мэрии.
Вам веры
Он
ноль.
разрушен хулиганами.
Вы нацисты.
Рот сейчас закройте, это ваша нацистская нынешняя Украина.
In the dystopia of 1984, there were hate matters when all party members were forced to watch movies.
Fuss about the enemies of the party and provokes you to express your hatred for them to a person who is already loyal with propaganda.
Ты понимаешь, с нациками, с фашистами, сука, ебаными! Блядь, буду с фашистами! Пидорасы! Твари ебаные! Я вас рвал на части! Суки!
Это народ так хочет. Избавиться от фашизма. Либо вы подчинитесь, либо по-другому не будет.
Надо ее снести со земли и все.
Украину?
Да.
Зачем?
А зачем она нужна?
Нацистская. Как Германия на нас налетела, так и Америка также.
Have you ever noticed that we are thinking certain words? Philosophers say that language shapes thinking, that is, the word, terms, and concepts we are used affect the way we relate to people and events. This is the second method of propaganda of the new language. Imagine back to this force for many years. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is power. This is a fragment from the dystopia 1984, where the word new language appears for the first time. And now listen to the rhyme.
Запрет, как норма права, из которой конструируется закон, это и есть самая большая свобода человека. А вам всегда говорят, вот, депутаты только запрещают. Это ложное, совершенно ложное, ошибочное представление. Запрет – это как раз и есть там, где человек свободен.
You also headed the ban is freedom, and this is the background of such nonsense and new words are being formed in Russia. Claps instead of explode.
Хлопок бытового газа произошел в жилом доме на Нагорной улице.
Smoke instead of fires.
Ну, зала в кинотеатр произошло задымление.
Flooding instead of flooding.
Подтопило около 7 тысяч домов, в которых проживали 32 тысячи человек.
Hardly instead of a plane crash.
На Ямале жесткую посадку совершил вертолет Ми-26.
Negative growth instead of decline.
В этом году будут, к сожалению, отрицательные темпы экономического.
Propaganda close-up listen seen by other little-known words to share the viewer's attitude to the present.
A false dilemma is when people are told that they only have two choices.
Голосуй. Или проиграешь.
Also, it isn't so easy to give you examples. The dilemma that Margaret Simonial offers in her telegram is towards the destruction of Ukraine or nuclear strike. But here's an example from the history. During the accession of the Austria to the German Reich, the referendum ballot looked like it. Approve? The big circle is the center. To the small, no you. Thought the choice is obvious. Here's a fragment from the TV show.
Проигрываем на Украине, и начинается Третья мировая. Самое невероятное, что в конце концов все это закончится ядерным ударом, мне представляется все же более вероятным, чем вот такое развитие событий.
The next favorite trick of propaganda is to distort information beats with a demagogic or rhetorical technique that mislead listeners with logical fallacies. The goal is to avoid discussion by any means possible. Here's an example from a talk show.
Доказательство вмешательства?
Да, я когда смотрю на господина Байдена, я вспоминаю Федора Михайловича Достоевского и «Дядюшкин сон» повесть. Вы помните князя К? Мертвец на пружинищих ножках.
Выбрали такого президента.
Но они выбрали мертвеца на пружинищих ножках. Дело в том, что он сегодня помнит, а сегодня нет. И все эти заявления, возможно, завтра им же будут.
You know, what happened instead of answering the question on the merits? The show perceives starts to go personal with Biden, discussing his age, calling him a dead man with springing his legs. What does this have to do with the election at all? They even joke about it. He's the fragment from the stand-up.
И остальные, блядь, поддерживают эту хуйню из-за пропаганды. Но меня так смущает, когда говорят, блядь, вот те, кто поддерживает из-за телевизора, это просто потому, что они смотрят только телевизор. Если бы они имели доступ к альтернативным источникам информации, они бы так не думали. И с одной стороны, я согласен с этим. Но часть меня все равно не перестает винить этих людей, потому что мне кажется, что можно понимать, что власти России тебе пиздят, смотря только телевизорно. Надо просто запоминать, что они пиздят, вот и все. Я не буду менять Конституцию. Пойду ли я на новый срок, я не знаю. У нас нет никаких притеснений. У нас демократия. У стен Кремля случилось убийство. Мы не имеем к этому никакого отношения. Это не мой дворец. Это гостиница Ротенберга. Мы относимся к Украине как к суверенному государству. У нас нет никаких планов на Крым. Наших солдат там нет и никогда не было. Крым всегда был наш. Кто его отравил? Американские спецслужбы. Войны не будет. Это не война. Это учение. Это не война. Это спецоперация. Это они сами себя бомбят. Если бы мы не начали войну, они бы первые на нас напали. Мы стреляем высокоточными ударами только по военным объектам. Мобилизации не будет. И этого пиздежа столько, что россияне начинают в него верить, потому что они такие, ну не может же быть все это пиздеж. А это все пиздеж, каждое их ебаное слово.
And when they have 15 activists running away from one policeman at a rally, I don't know what is fine. And the police in Russia made a video with new comfortable cars for children. There's even place for wheelchairs. Zelensky is called a clown because he was a participant in the 95 quarter. And an actor is a TV series, who is servant of the people, where he was the president. But the fact that Zelensky was an actor doesn't prove that. He is a bad president. This only proves that Zelensky was an actor. Ronald Reagan, 40th president of the USA, was also an actor. This doesn't mean that he is a bad president. It only means that he was an actor. Arnold Schwarzenegger served 8 years as the governor of the California after Terminator. Misleading information also includes the coverage of events. For example, Russia hit a house in Uman and made it look like Ukraine shot them, and even better. They posted a post in Telegram that they always hit the target. While there is nothing to say, the way they describe when they captured Mariupol, that it was us who destroyed it. About other countries' mass propaganda also. They also do the following propaganda technique, the illusion of the majority in their words. Propaganda should show that the mass support. For this purpose, they interview ordinary people and social pools are contracted. But who exactly is contracted them? The largest independent social polling center, Levada, has called declared it a foreign agent. The state wants to leave the polling social pools to itself and ban the rest of them. If you see this doesn't affect you in any way, look at this. In the experiment with two pyramids,
Решка, посмотри внимательно. Какого цвета пирамидки? Оленька.
she didn't know that everyone was conspiring. She was given two choice, or a white or black pyramid.
Какого цвета пирамидки?
The girl says that the pyramids are different, but gives a general answer.
Сказала, что она белая. Почему?
This works not only with children, but also with adult guy.
Посмотрите, какого цвета пирамидки. Ваше мнение?
Обе белые. Обе белые.
Обе белые.
Обе белые. Обе белые. Обе белые. Обе белые. Обе белые. Белые.
Обе белые. А если серьезно?
Обе белые.
Побеждены. Спасибо большое.
People tend to join the majority and don't want to be a loner. It's called conformity.
Experts are asked by the host their opinion and confirm their thesis that we didn't come up with others about the insidious America on our own. You see, even American experts say this most often.
Чаще всего меня спрашивают в последнее время, чего вы лезли на Украину, американцы. Есть один простой вопрос, ответ. Он циничный, но он правдивый. Потому что Америка может. Вы какой-то удивительный человек, мне надо было раньше позвать. Вы выдаете все секреты Америки, даже не под...
Who are these experts and who selected them? How to check their qualification? All these questions remain behind the scenes.
Journalist Michael Ball is a whipping boy.
Пожалуйста. Ты думаешь,
Майкл,
пожалуйста.
ты чего меня провоцируешь?
But Vyacheslav Colton plays a professional Ukrainian and professionally collects all the insults.
Artlist.io.
Выведите эту нацистскую мразь и отдайте ее на расстрел. Шел отсюда!
And he is Irish military expert, Yuri Podolak.
Вам расскажет Юрий Иванович Подоляка, наш постоянный военный эксперт.
Yuri, a permanent military expert, creates a frontline reality that benefits only one side and that people want to hear. But Yuri predictions do not come true time and time again. As this William Engel is an American prominent journalist, writer and political scientist, as he is representing the Russian media. Only in his homeland, he isn't considered an expert. They write about his love for conspiracy theories and hatred of America.
And even the authorities can help propaganda, can no longer say that we didn't say anything like that. For example,
Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova talking about the Russo-British Russophobia.
Says Margaret Thatcher quotes that there could be as many as 15 million Russians.
По оценкам мирового сообщества, экономически целесообразно проживание на территории России только 15 миллионов человек.
This is the myth. Margaret Thatcher did say this. That's how stupid they are. They don't know how to use the internet. Most of them support this regime and are comfortable with it. And their propaganda is their way of life.
Рано или поздно произойдет то, чего все ожидают. Рано или поздно мы победим. Сейчас существует мнение, что в скором времени специальную военную операцию переименуют в контртеррористическую операцию. Кто-то говорит, что это будет даже Отечественная война, но я считаю, что и этого недостаточно. Правильно это назвать священная война! Священная война!